Welcome to Preserving Our Oral History. Today we're featuring Amanda Mahadeo, well known as Auntie Nursey.
I became a midwife when I was trained after I was trained at Georgetown Hospital in the year 1973, and I spent 4 years there. After I was trained, I spent another 2 years, and then I came back to St. Cuthbert's, where I served my community in the year 1977, June 1977. But before I came here, I had to go at Susdike and spent 1 month there. And following that, I came to St. Cuthbert's to work as a midwife. At that time, there was no health center. I worked at one of the old school building that was vacant. And in early 80s, the year 1980, a health center was constructed um, by the then government, and I started to work there. Um, I used to do deliveries at home. There was no electricity. Um, I delivered baby with a lantern or a lamp or torchlight sometimes. Um, well, after time I got used to it, but then the village council they made representation, um, and we they brought in a generator, and then we had um, electricity then by means of that. And I did all the deliveries at the health center then.
The generator was for the health center.
Yeah, it was for the health center, especially for the health center. So at least that was a bit of improvement from going home to home to do deliveries and to look at patients. I became a nurse because I like that. I like to help people, and I delivered a lot of babies, not only over 300 babies or so um, at Georgetown Hospital and at St. Cuthbert's as well. And I feel good about that, helping, you know, women and helping people who are sick. And I always say that you can do well in a career if you like it. And that's what it is. Where my career was concerned then as a midwife. I love it. And even now, people would come to me and ask me to do blood pressure testing and ask certain advice. And I do that freely because they would say, um, are you taking, they would push some money in my hand. I said, no, no, I cannot take any money. I have to continue to help. Not everything you do, you must pay for that. You must give a helping hand now and then. Well, I can recall that reflecting then on the past, that when the new school was built, I was we it had to be commissioned, and there was the elderly people, and one lady came from the Demerara River, and they taught us to dance the Mari Mari and the hook dance. And I was one of the person who was going to school. I was like about maybe 14 or so, and I learned to dance quickly. because I love my culture. And after then, um, I started to teach young people the dances and young and 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 even if I don't like participate in any activity, the young people would come to me and say, Amanda, Auntie Amanda, we heard, or Auntie Narcy, or we heard that you um, can dance. And from then on, young people would come to me so that I can teach them, a group of, let's say, 9 or 12, because this hook dance, you had to get a partner. And the Mari Mari is, a group dance of um, about the same amount number then. So the first heritage activity we had in the community, I was I was one of the person who taught women to dance, not only young people but women. And from them then on, I continued until now. Right now, I have a group of eight eight young girls who are going to school. And why I have them is because I said I have to hang up my gloves now, because I'm not getting younger and somebody has to take over. But these young, beautiful girls came and they said, um, Auntie Amanda, we would like to participate in the activity um, in September 2022. I said, y'all don't come and waste my time. If you're serious and I tell you when to come, you have to come. So from then on, it's going to about a year now. I have this young group and they love dancing. And we're preparing for the dances already for heritage, the heritage celebration in September, the last Saturday in September 2023. Actually, every week, sometimes 2 times per week, I practice the children to dance. When I was a young person, much younger, and going to school here, my sisters and I would make carpets then for Geddes Grant. And Geddes Grant used to be at Courts in Main Street. The same, probably um, it was there though, I can recall. And they used to make um, different sizes and shape, circular, square, oval, rectangle. And they would walk with that up to the highway to catch the Tata bus from Linden that would um, be there by 6 o'clock. It would pass the Long Creek area. And I know everything about the craft, the stripping, and whatever you do. I can do all of those things and do plaiting and make not the big craft, the big size carpet, just the smaller ones. I used to help. But my sisters, they would make the bigger ones, big ones. And now I still have craft, but because of age and my eyesight, I really do not um, do that. I would get craft from relatives in the community and have it in my craft shop. Well, when I was um, I was I can recall reflecting. Um, I went to school during Mr. Beaton time. He was the headmaster, and he was very strict. And we had to be disciplined. We had to go to Sunday school. We had to go to church, or else it was we had to line up and have a little spanking in our hand. And I can say that it was not like now where um, it was difficult because we never went to school with shoes and all those things on. We went with our books, and I used slate at one time, from slate to exercise book, pencil, with the slate. I'm sure a lot of people know about that. And now we had to write an examination by the name of the preliminary examination. And it after preliminary, you could have written College of Preceptors and GC. But my parents couldn't afford to send me out to Georgetown then, because it was difficult. The money was difficult to find to send somebody there where you can stay and go to school. It's not like now where you have a secondary right here, where you can write your um, CXC examination. So um, that's it for me with when I was young, a little child growing up. And growing up too, I can reflect on the where we used to cook as well on fireside, and our kitchen was mud, daubed with mud. And from fireside to a little Chinese stove, and from the Chinese stove to um, this gas stove now. And our lamp was lantern that daddy used to make with a little Milo tin, and has a little chimney there. And that is what we used to use and read and do all those things then, reading and study with that. It was not easy. And water, we had to go by the creek and fetch water at the landing, which is the Mahaica River, or a little tributary to the Mahaica, which is called Taylor Creek. We used to go there, wash, fetch water on our head, with buckets, and until a deep well, we had um, hand pumps first. A long time, years ago. Um, I cannot recall, the year, but that was a long time ago. And from there, a deep well was installed in the community. And we would go to um, with four standpipe, and we would go and fetch our water from there to bring at home. And now we have a few standpipes at um, at our homes. And sometimes you do get water, and water is um, something precious. They said water is life. But I think here, the system need to be upgraded a little bit more. And with electricity now, only 4 hours of electricity from the time I know that we had a big generator for the community. Only four hours is not enough. At least by now, seeing that St. Cuthbert's was here over 100 and odd years now, we need to have electricity at least 24 hours. That generator was installed um, about 20 years or so, too, because that was there during Michael, Mr. When Michael, the late Michael Simon was to show. I couldn't, I don't think I could live my life without, I always like to be an independent person. And since I was growing up as a child, I always say I wanted to become something, be somebody, work for my own and not to depend on like a Richie, a husband. Um, so one day I was alone at home and I made an application to the hinterland, um, then Ministry of, it wasn't Ministry of Indigenous Affairs, but they were responsible for, um, it was, I can't recall what it was, but it's the same, um, it was an office that also were responsible for Amerindian affairs. And I wrote to that office telling them that I'm applying um, to be a midwife. And in no time before, I know it, I got, I didn't get a reply. Mr. Ruben Schumann, who is a relative of mine, he's now deceased, came one day at home. That was about 6 months after when I forgot about writing this application. And I only saw he came at my home and said, I have to pack up right now. And he said, you got through to go and study to be a midwife. And you have to pack now, 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 because this vehicle is here for you.
He was a Tusha at the time.
Yes, Ruben Schumann was a two-show then. And and my mother and one or two other relatives, they had whether I should go or not. I said, no, I am going. I made up my mind and I am going. Nobody cannot stop me from going. So I made up my a decision to go, and I pack up my little bag, my little bundle with a couple pieces of clothing. I don't even know if I had a lot of clothing to go to Georgetown, but I said I have to go, whether I have money or not. I am going, and that was it. So I went there. I was trained as a midwife, and then the first ward I went to work at, the nurse said, Amanda, you're here. I want to have a discussion with you. She said, you're here and I want you to study very hard. Put your studies in front and be trained as a midwife. Then anything after that, you know, if you wish to have a family, and you can have a family, but make sure that um, you study very hard and pass your exam, which I did. So, in 1977, after passing my exam, I came to St. Cuthbert's Mission, back to my hometown.
Thank you to all the donors that made this project possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye. Until the next time.